Guys, something unprecedented is happening in the Western world right now. Canada just announced they're recognizing Palestine as a state in September, joining France and the UK in what experts are calling the biggest diplomatic revolt against Israel in its entire, albeit short, uh, history. I was going to say potentially illegitimate, but let's not. Anyway, this isn't just symbolism. This is a complete breakdown of the Western alliance that has protected Israeli interests for decades. Loads of people are saying it's just symbolic, it's just words, it's meh, meh, meh. Bruv, you have to see where these nations started and see where they are now, how it's going versus how it started versus how it's going. You know, that sort of Gen Z. Anyway, you have to see the progress to understand the direction, analytically speaking, on the geopolitical world stage, to understand the progress these countries are making. For the first time ever, Israel is facing opposition to its broader geopolitical objectives from its own traditional allies, not from the enemy, not from the opposition, an open adversary, from its allies, right? The Western Bloc, the advanced economies that once stood in lockstep with the Israeli state, like the lockstep legions of old Gis or the Unsullied, right? Game of Thrones reference. They're now breaking ranks and flipping sides. Prime Minister Carney of Canada made it clear that Canada's decision comes after the Palestinian Authority committed to democratic reforms and excluding the H group from future elections. Now, that's a whole separate conversation, right? This idea that the West has a say in who can or cannot govern, who can or cannot be a part of elections. This is the view of the Western world. It's breaking now, it's crumbling. The citizens, by and large, don't view it the same as they did before. But this idea stems from the European continent colonizing first, America following in behind, and then colonizing the rest of the world, and industrializing first and then colonizing the rest of the world, and feeling like they have a say in everything, right? They have a foot in every, they have a finger in every pie, they have a foot in every door. And many across the world, including state governments in the global south, are asking more and more often, why do you guys get to decide that? New number, who this? Who do you think you are? Right? This isn't Victorian era Europe. This isn't the age of empires with the scramble for Africa and the subjugation of the jewel in the British crown of India, and then South America colonized by, the Spaniards. No, sit down, Europe. Sit down, North America. Right? Your time's up. You can now join literally the rest of the world in reality, not this sort of weird, skewed Western supremacist version of the world you guys have so far lived in. That's over, right? We can choose for ourselves. Thank you very much. But let's move away from that. That's not the conversation of this post. The framing Canada had, which is, we will decide who can and cannot run for elections in your country, basically. Forget that, okay? Let's focus on the trajectory. These are ardent, staunch Western nations essentially shifting from blindly pro Israel towards a more balanced position. Not quite there yet, not in the middle between Palestine and Israel, but the direction they're taking is clear. And here's where it gets explosive. America is absolutely furious. Trump immediately threatened Canada with devastating 35% tariffs, writing, Canada backing Palestinian statehood will make it very hard for us to get a trade deal. End quote. End quote. This is economic pressure being used to punish allies, mind you, right? Canada's a staunch ally, more before than now, but it's still an ally of the US. For allies of America to take diplomatic positions America doesn't like, expect to be hit with the punishment, the banhammer, or some sort of repercussion. Very interesting. Israel's foreign ministry called it a reward for the H group, the idea that Canada would actually recognize Palestinian state. But the rest of the world essentially ignored Israel's statements because, at this point, 1930s Germany style, they can announce all they want. Nobody really takes that seriously. The direction every country is moving in, they continue to move in. Israel has achieved pariah status. Sorry, it's an outcast state on the diplomatic world stage. Analytically speaking, I'm not speaking as an activist for the pro-Palestine camp. Analytically, Israel has become an outcast state. Its diplomatic currency ran out. It's acting in a way that's very undiplomatic. The only reason why it's still recognized as a country, by and large, one could argue, the only reason why it's not being absolutely ruffle stomped into the ground in terms of its legitimacy and its right to exist, and all the nonsense you hear from their side as, oh, I can't believe it, bruv, your victim card's expired. Yeah, calm down, sit down. The only reason they're still operating normally as a state is because the US backs them. And so it gives them a diplomatic immunity. The US holds a seat on the UN Security Council, one of the big five, right? The others being the UK, France, Russia, and China. The US, sorry, can veto any sort of um, action punishing the Israeli state at the Security Council level. And so Israel's just chilling, is just chilling, is living its best G-sidal life. Now, the Israeli state is witnessing, though, something they have not witnessed ever before. It's so unprecedented, I keep re-mentioning it, right? For the last 2 generations, before my parents were even born, and I myself am no spring chicken, right? The fact that I just used that phrase, spring chicken, suggests I am certainly not a spring chicken. Someone in my comments earlier today, by the way, said, have you got a new camera, UNC? And I was like, what the heck is a UNC? And they were like, uncle. Obviously, I didn't have time to write the whole word. And I was like, oh my God, I am so much an uncle now. I nearly fell off my chair, and that would have thrown my hip out, or something that old people say. I don't know. Pick your old people saying. I'm an old man, basically. Sorry, that's a very roundabout way of saying I'm old, and my parents are therefore older. They weren't even born at a time when the Western allies of Israel acted the way they're acting now. It's never happened before, right? In the last 2 generations, and ever, we've not seen a shift by the Western powers on their stance on Israel the way it's shifting now. Their statements are still out of alignment. I appreciate that. I need to clarify that. They're still out of alignment. They're still pro Israel and not pro Palestine. It's not even balanced. But just as a chain smoker, going from 2 packs a day to a pack and a half is to be commended, their progress appreciated. So too, if you care for the Palestinian cause and wish for justice of the Palestinian people, here too you should appreciate the progress, going from 2 packs a day to a pack and a half. Having said that, a final point I would make is, if you have chosen your side and you come to me for the analysis of the situation, a breakdown, don't come to me for the activism. If you have chosen a side and you support that side, the work is not done. In particular, in this case, those who are pro-Palestinian, there's a slew of activists that continue to push, because the end of the road is not here with the sort of lukewarm, conditional, pathetic recognition offers by the Western powers. This is just the start when the framework, the historical alignment to Israel is cracking. But when it cracks is not when it breaks. It's just the beginning. So don't take my analysis as, okay, we've won, we can go home, I can go relax and live my best life now. Absolutely not. If you care for the justice of the natives, of the land, of historic Palestine, best believe the justice is not here and is far from it. So continued pushing is what is required by those who believe in that cause. And for the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin. It's been my absolute pleasure, guys. I'm Mahfouz, and I'll see you on the next one. And remember, to help me reach more people using whatever creative ways you have, if you guys feel you can help me reach more people in some other manner, please do message me directly or email me. If you go to my TikTok bio, there's a link that allows you to send me a voice note. Is a really cool website. It allows you to send me a voice note and I can just play it and I can hear it. It allows you to send me an email and I can just play that. It's a great way for you to be able to contact me. Don't think that I've now grown this account to the point where you can't reach out to me. I won't be able to read all the messages a lot of the time, but please still send in the messages to help me boost my post in the algorithm. Let me know where you're commenting from. That's always motivating. Trinidad and Tobago and Ghana and South Africa and Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Iran and historic Palestine even. I used to get that a lot more before. Um, Israelis are commenting, Americans, Australians, Garaimai. Um, so thank you again, guys, for all your support. And I will continue to try and be here for the unbiased news and analysis that you want to know but you don't want to sit in front of Sky, BBC all day just to get the summary. You can come to me, I'll give you a 10-minute summary on the topic of your choice slash interest. See you on the next one.